Baker Mayfield has a better opening week record than Tom Brady, which means Baker Mayfield is now the newest, best quarterback ever to play the game of football. Just kidding, obviously. But they did come out with a week 1 victory over the Minnesota Vikings and now have their home opener going up against Justin Fields of the Chicago Bears, who had a disappointing week 1 loss. I think this can be a very good game between two teams where there's still a lot of questions on how both teams are going to shape up throughout the NFC. And I think both can contend for their division. Well, the Bears might not be able to contend for their division, but the Bucs can still contend for their division. And at minimum, I think they both can contend for a wild card spot. But I'm curious, Ryan, what were your overall thoughts of both two teams' performances in week 1 and your expectations moving into week 2?
I was a little disappointed with the Bears' performance. They only came out and had 122 rushing yards. I was expecting Justin Fields to run for that probably on his own. And it seemed like they were running a little more passing sets and really trying to get him involved in that style of game. On the flip side of that, Tampa Bay came out really slow. And then actually most of their offensive yards came in the second half. I believe they only had about 50 yards in the first half against a lackluster Minnesota defense. But at the end, Baker Mayfield and this offense did show life and some fire. And I think there's something there. I don't know. I don't really know what yet, but they were competitive. They are a true NFL offense. And I'm curious to see what they are able to do going forward, because you and I had kind of written them off as possibly picking in the top 5 this year. And I still think that's possible, but not so sure on that now.
It's not absurd.
Yeah,
it's so tough to pick. I mean, to pick in the top 5, where or like this team's picking the top 5. I mean, the Cardinals, I feel more confident about that. Bucs, that's where we talked about there could be. You know, we had a horrible record for them in our season prediction, but just because there's so many question marks moving forward, and so. For me, for the Bucs, I think the Bucs just played a consistent game last week, while the Bears did not. I do think the Bears played the better team in Green Bay, so I think that I think it is a step down in competition. I think Green Bay is better than Tampa Bay. I think another thing also where the score line is to see Minnesota just kept turning the ball over. They had 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, and a pick. Yeah, and Tampa Bay as a whole only had 242 total yards of offense while giving up 369, 328 through the air. Now, that's not saying much because it is Justin Jefferson. But what that does show me is I wonder if there are still some concerns overall on the offense production overall. And they were just given some short field opportunities that they capitalize on, where they are having I would, in my opinion, a weaker offensive line, a younger offensive line. They have Tristan Wirfs at the left tackle. They do have Cody Mock, the rookie, at the right guard. But still a young offensive line overall, and defensive line as well. Kalijah Cansey got hurt, so we'll have to watch his status. Also looks like Levante David. His name is in red here, so it's definitely going to be a storyline to watch throughout the season. I think it's going to be interesting to watch because I think the Bears pose a different type of challenge than what Minnesota has. Minnesota has no offensive line, a great quarterback, best receiver in the league, and that is how they're going to beat you, is just through the air. While Justin Fields is able to run able to run all around the field. It's so hard to tackle him. He should have gotten sacked 10 times against the Packers, able to lose so many tacklers. And now they don't have those weapons, but I think they just have really good pieces overall. I think DJ Moore is looking to bounce back. That's what I'm curious how the Buccaneers are going to do against this type of challenge, because Minnesota, in my opinion, is not that good. They don't have a good offensive line, don't have good defense as a whole, and Tampa Bay seemed to struggle just overall throughout the entire game. But they did capitalize on their short field positions. So that being said, though, Mike Evans, I think, is going to have potential to have a really good game this week. I think just because of how weak the Bears defense is also.
I think there definitely is some opportunity here for the Tampa Bay to come out and build off of what they showed in week 1, especially in that second half. But I do still see the weaknesses a little bit. This Tampa Bay offensive line did struggle as well, especially in the run game, to kind of move the ball. But with that being said, the Bears allowed, I guess, only 92 rushing yards in week 1. But so we'll see. I am going to side with the Buccaneers on this one. I'm going to go with the home team just because that's in close games. Typically, that does give a little bit of an advantage. So I'm going to side with the Buccaneers. Tyler, who do you have winning this one?
I'm actually going to disagree. I'm going to go with the Bears. I think Justin Fields is going to have a field day just against his defense. Not too many throwing yards, but I think he's just going to be able to run around and create some more space. Something that he just was not able to do against a good Green Bay Packers defense. I still think that both these teams are on the outside looking in when it comes to playoff, in my opinion. So I just think the best athlete overall on each team is going to win this game. I think it's going to be Justin Fields.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's going to be a good game.
It's tough. It's really tough. It's really tough to kind of judge these two teams, especially in week 2.
Yeah, because week 1, you could chalk up to week 1. Maybe these teams just aren't that good. It's hard to tell. So let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win in this week's NFC matchup. Is it going to be the Chicago Bears or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Let us know down below. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.